Well, let me paint a picture of federal parliament this week for you. Fresh off the back of their split, the Liberals and Nationals won't sit together as one for the first time since the 1980s. Nationals leader David Littleproud could face a leadership spill tomorrow after Nats MP Colin Boyce mounted a challenge, claiming he was unhappy with the way his leader handled the divorce. Yet Boyce today admitted he probably doesn't even have the numbers.
Now, the way it stands at the moment, if David retains the leadership, which I expect he will, I will be comprehensively defeated. I'm sincerely hoping that somebody else will stand up and nominate for leadership other than me.
Now, it's highly unusual admission for someone who has spent the past week plotting to topple a leader. But then there's the Liberal Party. Leader Sussan Ley is all at sea, yet for now it appears she will survive as leader of the opposition. For how long? Who knows? After a meeting last week between potential replacements Angus Taylor and Andrew Hastie, Hastie then pulled out of any potential leadership challenge. Chief political reporter Andrew Clennell is reporting that Angus Taylor won't challenge for the Liberal leadership when the party room meets on Tuesday. So we have a situation where Sussan Ley is not only at odds with Labor, but she's at odds with the Nationals and at odds with the right of her party. She set a deadline of February 9 for the Nats to rejoin the coalition, or she will reallocate their shadow portfolios to her Liberal colleagues. Littleproud has turned down her offer of peace talks ahead of Parliament, and both would be hoping each other gets rolled. Yet Liberal Senator Anne Ruston claims that the Liberal Party can go to an election alone.
Well, the certainty is unless you get back in coalition, you can't win an election. Isn't that the certainty?
Well, I think you've only got to look at history to say that actually isn't true. But of course, we are always stronger when we are in coalition, and I absolutely agree with that. But you know, to be the opposition,
you think you can win just as the Liberal Party? You think you can just win as the Liberal Party, do you?
It's happened before, Andrew, and I think the one thing that we've learnt in politics is that you know, you never say never. Things change very, very quickly.
Look, she's dreaming. The party can't go it alone. It needs the Nationals to form government. And as you can imagine, Anthony Albanese is having the time of his life.
Well, they're shambles, and they're focused on each other and their hatred of each other. We're focused on the Australian people and their needs and the national interest. You can't fight for Australians if you're obsessed by fighting yourselves. And that is what the former coalition have become.
Have I missed anything? I mean, it's a complete circus. And have a look at this breaking news tonight. New polling from Redbridge and Accent in the Financial Review tells the full story. One Nation's primary vote is sitting at 26%, up 9%. Have a look at the coalitions. 19%. That's down 7. Pauline Hanson is now the most popular politician in the country, with 38% favourable rating. And that is compared to the Prime Minister on 34%, Sussan Ley, 10%, behind both Andrew Hastie and Angus Taylor. Seriously, Australia deserves better than this. Where is the alternative government that Conservative voters across this country are crying out for? Where is it? No wonder One Nation is now more popular than the former coalition. And the longer this divorce goes on and leadership tensions are dragged out, the more votes go to Pauline Hanson's party. Why? Because the Liberals have totally strayed away from their Conservative values. Now, I think it was always likely to be the case Andrew Hastie would not get the numbers as the bedwetting moderates throw the One Nation light label around. And I think it's a shame. I think Andrew Hastie has been very strong on immigration and energy policy, albeit it was disappointing to see him capitulate over that hate speech legislation. But he has never been one to shy away from his views, and that is what the party needs. Now, late on Friday, Angus Taylor posted on social media that he shares those values with Hastie, saying he is a patriot committed to tackling the big problems our country faces, and I share many of his views on reducing immigration, restoring cheap energy, reviving Australian industry and rebuilding national pride. So if Angus Taylor is the man who will mount a challenge, then surely he cannot waste any more time because the polls are diabolical for Sussan Ley. But already the sharks are coming for Taylor.
Of course, the convention is if one does not support the leader, they step aside. Angus hasn't done that, so my running assumption is he continues to support Sussan Ley in her leadership.
In the end, the Liberal Party can change leaders, but unless it has strong, cut-through policies that are not Labor-light and backed up by a fearless leader who is willing to take a stand on issues like immigration, like who we are bringing into this country, our social cohesion, energy, putting our values first, then the party will remain in the wilderness for a long time to come. The focus this week should be on inflation. The focus should be on the fact power prices are set to surge more than 20% this year as Labor's energy bill subsidies end. The Band-Aid was always going to be just that, a Band-Aid. The focus should be on Anthony Albanese's disastrous summer in the wake of Bondi. The focus should be on cost of living, and yet the focus is on coalition disunity.